make sure you subscribe and hit the bell down below. Welcome to Let's Chat. We're bringing out and
Welcome to Let's Chat with Spanky Payne and co-host Al Reardon at the beautiful Spanky's Dive Bar.
All right, we're here with Let's Chat. We got Al Presley, and we got Patricia. How did you say the last name?
Daddona.
So yeah, she just played a few songs for us. We're going to be playing those later on in the show. I'd say what, folk storytelling, kind of stuff.
You call it.
Yeah.
Troubadour, maybe.
So how? Well, actually, let me get Presley's questions.
Presley
So
wants
the
to ask a question.
What do you got for questions today?
What's your favorite place to play at?
My favorite place to play is probably the art park in New London.
Ooh,
It's next to
Connecticut.
an art exhibit gallery called Hygienic.
Wow.
And I spent a lot of time playing there. And it's an outdoor park, but it's got the acoustics and the sound system are all covered over so you can play.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That does sound like a cool place.
Never played there.
So Connecticut, is that where you originally came
Connecticut
from?
was-
Or?
Right, I was born in Waterbury and grew up in Watertown, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And then I spent a lot of time living, working, and playing in New London.
Yeah. And now it's Chester, Vermont?
Yeah, well then, there's a little bit in between there. So I got laid off at my job at the Day in 2011. It was a newspaper, and that's just been the trend for a
They're
long
dying.
time now.
Yeah.
So I went to a small business weekly called Providence Business News. Sold my house, moved over there. My partner and I were living a long distance relationship at the time. And then a couple years later, I moved into her home in Newington. And I got a job at the Hartford Business Journal after a little freelancing.
Yeah.
And her home, in 1999, she bought her home in Chester as a second home, and we wanted to make it our permanent home. Last year we did it.
Good move.
Sweet.
We
Good
did it.
move. My daughter's a sports newspaper editor.
Really? Where?
She's presently in Dickinson, North Dakota. In a few weeks, she'll be starting with a new paper in Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing.
Been out of college 2 years, so she's...
Well, I'm off the newspaper beat, but I still swear by newspapers as a real important vehicle for democracy.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
And radio and TV and everything.
So since coming to our humble area, have you played around here or...
I haven't played too much. I recorded a CD in New London in 2010.
Yeah.
And I've written a lot of new material since then. The songs you'll hear are the newer songs. But it took me a while because I'm still working part-time and trying to get more and more work. I work at the Windsor County Mentor nonprofit.
Nice.
And so it's taken me a while to get out musically around here. But I've been to the open mics at Artistry, run by Jim Yeager, which
Yeah.
are wonderful. And I've been to Pizza Stone a few times.
Yep.
Another
And I
great
just
venue.
I've been playing at the UU.
Yep.
I have a show coming up November 16th
The
at the
church.
Springfield Unitarian Universalist Church.
Yep.
Is that put on my bill still?
No, Bill Brink is taking a little hiatus, but he'll be back.
Good.
He'll be back. He's a close friend. And I just played at the Flying Crow. They're trying to get some performances going downtown,
It's like
downtown
Is
Springfield.
that kind of behind a building? I haven't been in there yet, but I saw
It's
it.
small, yeah.
Yeah.
It's behind the falls or in front of the
Yeah.
falls.
Okay, I
Yeah.
saw a sign for it, but it's like it didn't see no storefront really. So
Yeah, so the
It's there.
storefront part is small. It's the
very
roasting
tiny.
part that's bigger.
Very tiny.
check it out.
that
Check it
place.
out. He's got he's
Flying Crow
booking-
Cafe.
He's booking lots of performers there, so
I did stop in once. It took me a while to get there, but I stopped in once. I thought it was a nice little operation he had
It
going
is.
there, and he told me about the roasting part and all that.
yeah, Ben is very committed to all of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Any
He
more
was all in.
questions?
I'll think of
You'll think
Well,
of
you were talking over here. So how long have you been playing?
Well, so there's that saying, "Don't die with your music in you." So
Good saying.
yeah, because I learned to play guitar at 10. I really wanted to play. I rented a guitar for a year.
No
It was
kidding.
literally a plywood guitar. I mean, the cheapest possible
Yeah.
thing for $10 a week. And I went for lessons and I learned. Well, I still don't know my scales and all of the fingering. I do the fingering at the long part of the fretboard, but I really don't know what I'm doing. But I learned first position, so I know
Right.
all the notes and how to read music and
Yeah.
all that. So I played for a long time, but I would play with my back to people. I was very shy and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't play in front of people. I wrote one song, I wrote a couple, but I wrote one song as a senior in college. And I really hid my light under a bushel. I really didn't play anything until I wrote a song in my early 40s, 58. In my early 40s, I wrote a song about a friendship that was only a friendship, was never going to become anything more, and that was disappointing to me. And I was living it, but somehow I was listening to Kelly Clarkson, actually,
Yeah.
the song she wrote about her father, the old song
Yep.
about her father, and I heard the F sharp minor and the B flats, and I don't know, something clicked with the chording,
Yeah.
and I wrote what I still consider a song that holds up today called Letting Go. And then after that, it was, I'm not writing right now, but I was very prolific for a couple of years, writing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the flow flows and then it stops and then it
Just
flows
think
and
of a
then it
protest
stops.
song. There's plenty you can do right now.
There's plenty of fodder for it, that's
No,
for
there's a
sure.
lot of political stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if you harken back to the '60s and Bob Dylan and all those folks.
Yeah, I think we did see a little resurgence in that since the Trump regime's been in
Well,
there.
there's a new documentary about, it's called The Stone Walls or something, about the revolution of,
Oh,
there was like a club where the girls and guys could go dance with each other because they were getting arrested and beat up really by the cops. And it was like the night that they decided to rebel. Say, fuck
Huh.
you, we're gonna do what we want.
yeah.
That was like, what, 50
And is that what
years
it's
ago?
called?
50
Stonewall?
It's because it was in a place called the Stone Wall.
Oh, that was a club?
And,
That
yeah,
was a
it
place?
looks pretty cool. It looks
Huh.
like a good documentary.
Not
Well
familiar
done,
with the
too.
story, but I'm interested.
It's a really good story.
Huh.
There's a new documentary about Dylan coming out too.
Yeah.
Dylan.
I did hear
Bob
about
Dylan.
that. Huh.
Oh, there's been documentaries about everybody lately.
I
Like
guess, yeah.
Elton John.
Tommy.
That one just
Right,
came out.
and then,
I guess that's a really specific
Queen.
time frame on the Elton John. It's like 4 years of his life when
Mm-hmm.
he first really hit big.
They did the Dirt one. That Dirt one was pretty fun.
That was good. That was good.
You see that one yet? The Dirt?
No.
That was the Motley Crue one.
Oh,
And
no.
that one's wild. And that one's pretty wild. It pretty explains their peak and then their lows.
Well, I like this area for music. Well, we were talking about you, and where you have played around here. There's so many places that have open mics and places that are trying to bring more music and all that. Another one that's occasionally has open mics is Flatiron Exchange, the cafe in Bells Falls, which is a nice place anyway.
Killarney still does it. Killarney
Yeah, I
used to
don't
do
know.
it. Well, Steve did a lot of those, and he passed away a couple of years ago for stroke. Steve Osley. I don't know if you ever met him.
No.
Yeah, he was big into the whole the folk scene. Everything
Yeah.
kind of just promoted everything. He was a good guy.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find my way out here, and you know, work in my work shifts with
Yeah.
my playing.
Yeah. Isn't that always the thing?
It's difficult. It's really difficult.
So, we kind of went back a little bit and we talked about where you came from, what you were doing musically at different stages, and so it seems like it's been kind of an involvement and an evolution.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to have close friends who have a lot of expertise with recording, and they recorded 2 CDs for me. The first one, I was adamant I didn't want any other instrumentation on it, and so it's not that good.
I should have listened.
I know, I should have listened. And that has Let It Go on it too. So, and also a song called Come Back, which my partner happens to like. So, but those versions are not terribly good. So, then I recorded that was called Letting Go, that first CD.
Yeah.
And then I recorded one called That Is Good with lead guitar on
There's
it
one
by
song
Ron
on there that I
Blacklow.
really liked. Really liked. Can't remember the title. I'll have to see it. I'll see
And
it.
Love Is Hard.
I think it's like the 3rd song on your Spotify.
Oh, that's from Love Is Hard. Yeah, that's the second CD.
There was a couple really good ones on that.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
So it's been an evolution like that. How do you? Are there songs that you perform now that have evolved over the years,
Yeah, so
and you do it a little differently now than you did?
So Come Back is actually a rock song, and it's like, I call it my Green Day song because it only has 3 chords.
Yeah. I learned a lot of
And
good
they're all
Fair,
bass.
fair. That's fair.
C, G, and D. But anyway, and it's complete fiction. Like, it's not about anybody, or it's about a relationship, but it's not really about a real relationship that I knew. But when I first played it, I was very hesitant and shy about it, and I actually in the CD, the first CD, I just rushed through it. We recently listened to it again, and the CD's all warped anyway. But beyond that, it just doesn't sound right, you know.
Yeah.
It's just not. And so now I really lit into it, and I play it hard,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of fun. It's a fun song.
Some of them like have a life of their own. You know, they're not
Yeah.
the same song they were 15, 20
I still get
years ago.
shy on stage, and like I'm usually end up in my boxers instantly. So people don't believe it, but there's always that little moment where it's like, you first go out there, it's like,
Well, they
what's
said
gonna happen?
if you don't have a little bit of nerves, you're not going to be
Right,
on.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
good to have a little
Helps
bit
you
of
focus.
nerves. But
Makes it.
Well,
you know where
we
you are.
we were never on live usually. Sometimes we would always be crazy, so we never knew what was gonna happen. I used to fall off stage or
But
hurt myself
I
somehow.
wasn't entirely a solo act either, because I had
You said I had a band before.
Well, yeah. Before that, though, there was a friend named Mike Ball. What happened was we had a group called Shoreline Acoustic Music Society that this woman, Sherry Stidfall, who is like a stalwart of the New London area. She was a teacher and a music lover. And then 2 of my colleagues, Mike Bailey and Steve Fagan from the Day of New London, the newspaper, they started this group, and it was just meant to jam and share music. And we went, and I wrote this song called Love Is Hard, which is a really weird song. But it's a lot of fun. It's a fun song, you know, musically, lyrically, it's a little strange. And so I played it, and Mike just started doing lead guitar and ripping into it and backing me up. And we stopped, and Sherry goes, "Play that again."
Yeah.
And we played it again, and since then, Mike has now moved to, I don't know where he is, Idaho or Iowa or some godforsaken Midwestern state. But I miss him. But he backed me up. He just had beautiful work. And one of my songs called Magic Treason is actually, it was recorded by another New London dynamo in terms of her own musical ability and songwriting. Her name is Arlene Wow, and she recorded me and Mike, and it's the best recording because I'm just playing and singing steadily, but he's doing all this work in the back, and he was great.
And you did know you were being recorded.
Yeah, no, we consciously recorded a couple songs, and that one I've kept because I like it. It's on It's on my blog. I have a blog about songwriting.
Well, we'll get to how people can look at stuff like that, but we probably ought to take a little
We
break.
gotta take a break. This is gonna be, what was the first song you did?
The first song was called Stay.
Here goes Stay.
Nice. Check it out.
Check it out. We're back.
I was ready to concede in the morning when you needed me. I thought I could be with you. It was only 2:30. I was wondering where love you were going and if I could follow you. Tomorrow's such a lonely day. I was wondering if you'd stay with me for a while. Smile the way you do all day when we're alone and ignoring the phone, holding each other. Whisper all the dreams you dream in your head, then go to bed, and I will still be your lover. Tomorrow's such a lonely day, and I was wondering if you'd stay with me for a while. Stay with me for a while. Won't you stay with me for a while? Come on, stay with me for a while. Stay.
All right, guys. Welcome back. We're
back!
Chat. You just heard Stay.
Pretty
Pretty
cool.
good song. And so we got some more questions for Presley.
Presley has more questions.
Why don't you pull in here a little bit?
How many previous bands have you been in?
Many.
Well, I was in the duo with Mike Ball a little bit, but basically just one other band. And it was called We Were Strangers.
We were strangers.
And the other one was, what is your favorite song to play?
My favorite song to play actually is a Dylan song. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Don't Think Twice.
It's all right.
I picked that one.
My best friend's, he was my best friend when I was getting out of my shell. We started a band together. We were a band for 21 years together. But his father would always play acoustic, and he always would play that song. Like, he did it so amazing.
Yeah.
It's such a great song.
And you know, no matter how many times you hear somebody do it, everybody's got a slightly different take on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His was so beautiful. I loved it. Of course, I loved the original anyways. So,
Yeah. There's only one Bob.
yeah, and sometimes imitators sound better than he does live.
Yeah. I like old Bob's voice. I like his voice presently. It's cool. It's not the same as it was, 30
No.
years ago, but it's cool. The same thing's true with Neil Young.
Yeah.
I love Neil Young's voice now. 30 years ago, I was kind of like, really, Neil? But now it's like, yeah, that's cool.
So, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, it's a social media world. So they want to look for you, they want to hear you, they want to see you. How
Yes.
can we do that?
So I'm on Facebook I've got a page on Facebook, and it's just under my name, Pat Daddona. And then I'm on
How do you spell that for people?
DADDONA.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm on Reverb Nation. I actually get a lot of traction there.
Yeah.
I have a songwriting blog called Pat Daddona Songwriting Blog.
Yeah.
I tried a different name, and I started getting weird stuff, so I just went back to that. And I try and profile other songwriters, and it's been I've lost a little bit of traction there, but I profile other songwriters. I muse about writing and performing and recording and stuff.
Good.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what people
So,
want.
what are some of your influences?
Like we talked about all the 60s folk, Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez, Cat Stevens, Dylan, all these people. But locally, really she's out of Massachusetts, I think, but she's also from Vermont. Louis Collins is an amazing songwriter, vocalist, guitarist, banjo player, uke player, everything. And my father was the director of in social work in Connecticut for the city of Waterbury, and he was also involved in a fundraiser for the local sexual assault crisis service, and I was volunteering there, but I couldn't make it to the performance, and Louis Collins was the guest, so he bought her album for me, and not a CD, an album,
Yeah.
made in New England. And to me, I still swear by that album. I mean, I have every single one of her albums, but she's why I write songs today, because of hearing her and seeing what she could do.
So you, like me, were pretty young in the late 60s.
You're pretty young?
We were pretty young in the late 60s when the folk thing happened through the 60s.
Right.
But by the time we were aware of it, it was the later 60s. And we were both very young. But I was pretty moved by it. And I could see my parents' influence was where my father was in the country and western. But then he's playing Joan Baez. And wait a minute, what is this? and so I grooved on it, and then as it went from the folk thing into, like, say, the Byrds and things like that, it was the folk influence all came into pop music, really. And do you think when you were 5 or 6 or 7 years old and that stuff's coming into your ears, do you think that's where it all really started, or?
I don't know, it could be, but I wasn't seriously paying attention till I was older.
Yeah.
But when I was listening to Louis Collins in my early 20s,
Yeah.
and my brothers who were into Led Zeppelin and Jethro Tull, which I like them too, but then they were also into other hard rock bands that I don't care for, would call me Miss Folk. But I think I came back around to the 60s well after. I was only 8 or 9 when the 60s was happening.
Yeah.
So I had to come full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the 60s have come full circle.
Anymore?
See, now that we're of the age that we are, that I am, people are saying, I liked growing up in the 60s more than I liked being in my 60s. Question, son?
What was playing in the radio when you were a little kid?
The Beatles.
Beatles. Did your brothers give you Beatles or Stones?
Although when I was little,
Is it the Beatles or Elvis?
yeah, it would be the Beatles for me. But I was also listening to David Cassidy and Bobby Sherman. I was listening to all the girly girl stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
Bobby Sherman, wow.
David Cassidy actually came out much later with more sophisticated original songs that he never really got recognized for. And
musicians,
my
eh?
close high school friend, Sass, she introduced me to that, and I had no idea.
Huh.
that he was not just a teeny bopper.
Yeah, I
You
still
know?
had no
I
idea.
think
Yeah.
Ricky Nelson would have gotten more into that way if he didn't die. Well, he did the garden party, which was really cool.
That was a big hit.
That was awesome. And the teeny bopper stuff when he was younger.
Yeah, most of them, when they do the teeny bopper stuff, once like Tiger Beat magazine has no interest in you anymore, you're done.
Yeah.
If you don't, if
They
you
didn't
don't
have a
evolve-
Tiger Beat back then.
Well, they did back then.
Back when I was a kid, they did. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking it was that like the Teen Bop magazine.
Yeah,
they have now.
Yeah.
yeah, that was in this. They had that in the '60s.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's turned into more of a girl magazine now.
It was aimed at like 13-year-olds. It was
Yeah.
pop, all about pop. Still is. Just they changed the names.
So we're gonna go to another song, and this one is,
This one is called "Other Side of Darkness."
and we're gonna say goodbye. And
Nice guitar work in this song.
nice
Really
guitar,
like
yeah,
that.
really good work. So thank you for coming.
Thank you
and,
for having me.
Hopefully we can check you out some more in the local area. Make sure you go see her live at some event. If you see her name on it, go. And
Go out and see live music, period. But
Yes,
go and
please
see
do.
that.
And make sure you check her out on Facebook and subscribe to. You have a YouTube too?
Well, I'm a little embarrassed by what I have on YouTube, to be honest with you. Until now.
YouTube.
We'll definitely check that out.
Until
YouTube's
now.
coming soon. Check
Yeah,
it
this
out.
will be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, there is one other thing. Both my band and myself and Mike Ball were recorded on YouTube under the day under an event called Lunch Break Live Lunch Break.
Ah,
And so
at the paper.
So I have all originals on there.
Wait a minute,
and-
does that predate Tiny Desk concerts?
Not really.
Probably not. Tiny Desk was a long time.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
I wish-
you
I
again.
wonder how
Right.
many there are. I wonder how many Tiny Desk concerts
There's
there
a
are.
lot.
It's like 400 and something.
Sitting pretty, waiting for you in this crazy city where the traffic rules all over, my friend. You took the subway, but you're late again. This bar is halfway to the end of nowhere, my friend. You're with me in spirit. You touch me inside. It's just life, don't fear it. I'm on your side. Always knew we'd meet in a late night bar. You have a way of saying wishful things out loud. So clear, my friend. Now what you're telling me is laced with fear, a heavy burden more than you can bear. Darkness, my friend. You're with me in spirit. You touch me inside. It's just life, don't fear it. You know I'm on your side. I touch your shoulder, want to comfort you. You say you have to go, somehow you'll get through these trials. trials, my friend. Days pass slowly, smeared by snow and rain. You take the subway and you're back again, but you're crying, my friend. You're with me in spirit. You touch me inside. It's just life, don't fear it. I'm still on your side. Couldn't lift this burden if I tried. May life take you on a gentle ride past darkness to bliss, my friend.